Anyway, so
where were we?
Here we are at the lathe, the green lathe.
Are you doing my job?
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Here we are at the lathe, the green lathe. Here we are in the metal shop, in the machine shop area. This is the lathe. It's green. And Levi's here to show us a cool tool. I actually don't know anything about it because we haven't talked about it yet, but for the lathe.
Right, this is a floating die holder is what it's called for the lathe. So what this does is it holds your basic threading die, which is round, and has, this one's set up for 1/4 What this takes the place of on a lathe is a lot of times traditionally you would have to machine the threads on what's called single point, where you take multiple passes, set, and you read this little dial, and it's a nightmare.
Oh, and you got this chart over here.
There's charts, various charts and graphs. It's as far as running a lathe goes, I consider threading to be the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because you really have to know what you're doing. And do it a lot to be good at it. What this does is takes that completely out of the equation. It allows the lathe to just run at the lowest RPM possible and start to engage this onto the stock. And once it bites in, it uses its own threads to pull the die over the material. And then you put it in reverse and it feeds it back off. So if you know you have threads to make, especially if you have a bunch of them, left hand and right hand, you can do either one. Getting this die and going with this, it's like having a 1/4 die around is super handy anyway.
So it basically just holds the thing, and then it slides.
Yeah, yep, it floats, and it has a little peg that goes in that slot there, and it just pulls it over it. The one thing you want to be careful of is not to go too far and pull it off, but that's a lot.
So have you already set up the lathe to go on a slow speed?
Yeah, I've set it at 80 or 70 on this one, which is the lowest. Ideally, I usually run this a little bit lower, but 70 should be fine.
I think you're at 70, man. Yeah. You want to be a B1 then?
Yeah, I am a B1.
No, that's B3.
That's B3.
Save your
Good
life.
catch, B3.
You in?
Yeah. Let me run a little test. Oh yeah, that's way better. Yeah,
So
I was
slow.
actually a little concerned because I was at the wrong speed.
Well, it's lucky I'm here.
Yep, good thing I'm not just going willy-nilly. So the trick with this is make sure you lock the tailstock in place, and you're actually you don't need to use any of the dial. Sometimes to get it started you do, but you can just engage that so it's coming in the right hand direction, and start to feed this die on there. And at a certain point, it should pick up. Sometimes you do have to bump it with the tailstock.
There, I see it.
Now it starts moving on its own. I like to back it off a couple turns as it does that. So you just let it feed as long as you like. Turn it off. I like to back it up a little bit. That way when it comes off, it has room to clear the part.
Yeah.
And then just put it into reverse. And that should back it right off.
Wow.
The nice thing is, if you are used to it, gives you a perfect thread every time. There's really no question to it anymore.
And this is aluminum, and you put a little bit of tapping fluid on.
Yeah.
But
if you have flood, like a lathe that has flood coolant, you can go even faster on it. But really, there's no reason to.
Why? Yeah.
It's already
the whole
dramatically
thing takes,
faster than threading.
Yeah, the whole thing takes 30 seconds a minute.
Right. Recently, I used this to make custom U-bolts. I threaded both ends of a rod and just bent it because we needed longer U-bolts than were available.
And we are doing aluminum, but you normally would do steel.
Yeah, I've done plenty of steel, left hand and right hand.
Well, it probably takes the same amount of time, right? Because the lathe's going as fast as it's going.
Yeah, it makes zero difference. Yep, but that gives you a perfect thread each time, saves a lot of effort.
That is awesome.
And the other handy part with this, there are cheaper ones of this. This one's a pretty nice one. I've seen people make their own as like a shop project. I've seen people use that as like one of the fun, build this on the lathe projects.
It is basically the lathe plus this slot is milled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen people do it with a handle on them. They make some with a handle where you can run it. This is the much safer version because it's a hands-off thing. There's no danger really at all. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I had no idea. This is a very cool one. All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Damn it. All right. So are you setting this up?
I just did.
That's it? Here we are at the lathe? I'm not showing you the lathe. Everybody go out and get a lathe. All right. Bring us
It's my
back.
turn.
Bring us back in.
It's my job.
Yep.
That movies take months to make.
Right.
All right.